SLT Fibre and experience the power of fibre technology. Sri Lanka's only super fast internet connection. SLT Fibre. Call 1212 now.
Tonight, indecent proposal. An additional secretary attempts to give UN Special Rapporteur an audience with Sri Lankan judges. No choice. Supreme Court orders Sri Lanka Medical Council to register students with recognised overseas medical degrees. The unwitting hero. The informant who led security forces to Samanthuri explosives rewarded. Hunt bites the dust. Boris Johnson voted to be the next UK Prime Minister. All that and much more coming up on First at 9. This Tuesday, the 23rd of July, 2019.
මුහුණ සති කීපයකට කලින් Fair and Lovely men ගෑවට පස්සේ මාක්ස් අඩු වෙලා ෆෙයානස් වැඩි වෙලා.
මාක්ස් අඩු කරලා ඔයාගේ ෆෙයානස් ස්ටෑන්ඩඩ් එක වැඩි කරගන්න. Fair and Lovely men anti marks cream.
From AdaDerana, this is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9. I'm Dhamika Kanaka. Let's start with the local stories. The 5th of August is looking to be a big day for the government and the United National Party in particular, as Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe revealed plans to unveil a broader political alliance under the banner National Democratic Front. The Premier elaborated on the plans while addressing the groundbreaking ceremony for the public market complex in Avisavela this afternoon. We were scolded for 2 years. We faced rains and floods and we were scolded for that too. Then we faced the drought and we were shouted at for that, and then we were defeated in elections. A constitutional coup came next and we were able to regain power. Then, however, the explosions happened. But we faced all these challenges. There were only two political parties when we first came to politics, which were the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and the United National Party. But there are a lot of parties now. The next step we are taking could be a revolutionary one. We should prepare common policies for the future, and for that, there should be a new alliance. We should register that new alliance while maintaining the identities of our own parties. We have decided to declare the National Democratic Front on the 5th of August. We will build that alliance to remain in power for 5 more years and develop the country. Now, President Maithripala Sirisena says that the country's future lies in free education and health. The President made these remarks at the launch of the national programme of Kiren Sapiridayak held in Ratnapura this morning. The 1 billion rupee initiative aims to provide 1.7 million school children from grades 1 to 5 a sachet of milk on all school days while strengthening the local dairy sector.
President Maithripala Sirisena inaugurated the Kiren Sapiridayak National Programme in Ratnapura today, which aims to provide a pack of liquid milk to every child. The programme, launched under Grama Shakti People's Movement together with Ministries of Education, Health and the Department of Livestock, is being conducted to boost local milk production by providing incentives to dairy farmers.
When we carry out initiatives, there might be certain issues. This is not an easy task. We have to ensure hygiene and the quality of milk. Therefore, looking into these is an important responsibility. If any issue arises, the media will criticize us. Because if any shortcoming takes place when it comes to a child's nutrition and hygiene, it will be a grave issue. No other government has spent as much as we have when it comes to education and health. The future of the country lies in free education and health. The motion to include the Colombo Port City land under the authority of the Colombo Divisional Secretariat in the Administrative District of Colombo was passed in Parliament today. Meanwhile, a letter requesting a meeting to be organised for the visiting UN Special Rapporteur on the rights of freedom of association and peaceful assembly, Clement Nyeletslozi Vul, with the Minister of Justice, Chief Justice and Colombo High Court judges was heavily criticised in Parliament today.
I'd like to quote Additional Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Mr. Ahmad Jawad, has addressed a letter to Secretary of Justice and Prison Reforms. There is an attempt to interfere with the functions of the judiciary. Further, this ministry is currently in proceeds of coordinating arrangements for the consultation and coordination with the relevant line ministries. The special rapporteur requested for the assistance of this ministry in arranging a meeting for him with the following: 1. Honorable Chief Justice. 2. Honorable Talatatu Korala. 3. Judges of the Colombo High Court as per his schedule. මාත්‍යංශ ලේකම්වරේ මෙවැනි ලිපියක් යවනව නම් මොකද්ද ඔබතුමාට තේරෙනවද මොකද්ද මේ රටේ
මම දැනුවත් කියන්නේ
අධිකරණයේ මුණ දෙන තත්ත්වය
විශේෂයෙන්ම නඩු 4ක් පැහැදිලිව නම් කරලා තියෙනවා. Death of Mr. Roshan Chanaka, free trade zone in 2011, protest at Valikad prison in 2012, Ratubaswala incident in 2013, and any other matter of similar nature relevant to your ministry. බොහොම පැහැදිලි.
They're going to meet at 3 p.m. today, and you still have time to intervene. Allowing the Chief Justice and High Court judges to be questioned this way is a threat to the independence of the judiciary. If ministers and their secretaries are involved in this, then they too are in contempt of court. We will have to take them to the Supreme Court if they are. I have instructed both the minister and the secretary already, and the secretary has already informed them to stop the discussion. Ambassador of the United States to Sri Lanka, Lainabit Tiplitz, called an opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa today. The meeting was held at the official residence of the opposition leader upon the request made by the Embassy of the United States. It is reported that US assistance, which are to be extended to Sri Lanka, was at the heart of the 40-minute-long talks. Meanwhile, taking to Twitter, opposition leader Mahinda Rajapaksa said that the duo discussed the challenges Sri Lanka faced post-Easter Sunday terrorist attacks. What is more, his tweet also mentions that they discussed the current political backdrop and how to further develop the already existing ties between the two countries. Chairman of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Professor G.L. Piris, and UPFA parliamentarian Keheli Rambukwella were also present for the discussion. Now moving on with other local stories, Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna alleges that the government's investigations on Easter Sunday attacks are not reliable. Speaking at a media briefing of the party today, its chairman G.L. Piris said that they are determined to carry out a reliable investigation under their own government, which the professor seemed confident of being formed before the end of the year. I was in Germany when the Easter Sunday attacks happened. The front page of the New York Times reported the names of those who are responsible for the attacks, including their phone numbers, as well as places they convened. The government knew all these details. We can't rely on the investigations that have been conducted on this attack. As soon as our government is established before the end of the year, we hope to conduct an impartial and a reliable investigation in this regard. The Ministry of Finance released a circular last week asking to prune current expenditure as much as possible in face of a huge financial crisis. It is the same Ministry of Finance which obtained cabinet approval for 490 million rupees for the promotion of the rural development project Gamperaliya. They have also approved 200 million rupees to hold an exhibition for Enterprise Sri Lanka. We see this as a considerable misuse of public funds. We will have to conduct a criminal investigation under our new government. Now, the revision application filed before the Colombo High Court against the Colombo Chief Magistrate's order granting bail to IGP Pujit Jayasundara and former Defence Secretary Minister Fernando is scheduled to be considered on the 1st of August. When the revision application was taken up before the Colombo High Court Judge Vikum Kaluarachi today, the respondents of the revision, former Defence Secretary Fernando and IGP Jayasundara, appeared before court. On the 18th, the Attorney General filed a revision application requesting the Colombo High Court to issue an interim order against the bail order issued by the Colombo Magistrates Court to the suspects who were arrested for their failure to prevent the Easter Sunday attacks. Announcing the bail order, the Chief Magistrate stated that the information presented at the Presidential or Special Presidential Commission of Inquiry probing the terror attacks on Easter Sunday cannot be considered at the Magistrates Court proceedings. Acting IGP CD Vikramaratne has decided to provide a reward of 5 million rupees to the individual who had provided the information which led to the discovery of explosives at 2 safe houses in Samanture used by terrorists responsible for the Easter Sunday attacks. AdaDerana recently revealed to the public the story of a lorry driver who assisted the security forces to avoid any possible further attacks in the aftermath of the suicide bombings on Easter Sunday by providing them with crucial information on 2 houses used to store explosives and other material by the terrorists. Sri Lanka Police today said that the attention of the police headquarters was drawn towards the lorry driver's comments to media and the fact his efforts have not been properly appreciated. Considering the success of the information provided by him, the acting IGP has approved 5 million rupees in reward money, 2.5 million rupees each for the 2 pieces of information he provided. Now, the Supreme Court today ordered the Sri Lanka Medical Council to register students with medical degrees from recognised foreign universities and who have passed the SLMC examination for medical profession in Sri Lanka. The directive was issued by a 3-member judge bench comprising Justices Prasanna Jayawardena, L.T.B. Dehidaniya and Madhur Fernando, delivering the verdict in the fundamental rights petition filed by 16 students who have obtained medical degrees from recognised foreign universities. The petitioners stated that the Sri Lanka Medical Council has refused to register them to participate in medicine in the country, despite the fact they have obtained medical degrees from recognised foreign medical universities. The petitioners sought a verdict from the Supreme Court, which states that their fundamental rights had been violated, and also to order the SLMC to register them for medical professions in the country. Now over to another development. Australian media say that a government charter plane carrying failed asylum seekers has been dispatched from Christmas Island for Colombo just days after their vessel was intercepted in the Indian Ocean. There were reports in Australia's offshore border patrol intercepting a group of Sri Lankan asylum seekers thought to number around 20 at the weekend in the Indian Ocean. During a visit to Sri Lanka last month, Australia's Minister of Home Affairs Peter Dutton stressed that the Australian government's policy in relation to border protection has not changed, as some say, and will not change. He said anyone attempting to arrive in Australia without adhering to due process is not welcome. Commenting on the latest episode of boat arrivals, Dutton's spokeswoman has said that the Australian government's policy is to intercept any vessel seeking to reach Australia illegally and to safely return those on board to their point of departure or country of origin. She added that under Operation Sovereign Borders, potential illegal immigrants have zero chance of getting to Australia illegally by boat. More local news await on the other side of this break. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. Now, elephants have been the pride and joy of Sri Lanka for centuries, with the country's history being littered with instances where rulers of other nations are seeking out Sri Lankan elephants. With the arrival of the Portuguese and the Dutch, as well as the English, once an abundant population simply decimated as the animals were heavily exported while also being hunted for sport. Even though Sri Lanka's colonial masters are long gone, elephants continue to suffer, with their numbers being reduced to around 5,000 in the wild. People in border villages and elephants endure a fractious relationship, often leading to casualties from both sides, but elephants can never win that war. First at 9 came across an innovative way to keep the two species apart, with the product already trialled. Human-elephant conflict. It sounds familiar. It makes us feel sorry for those who lose their lives upon the indomitable advances of the world's largest land mammal. It also makes us think of the elephant's all too apparent extinction. But what's not forthcoming is a solution to this perpetual conflict which, if left to be, will leave only losers. Human conflict with these majestic animals has reached a point where those in border villages, especially farmers, to think of elephants as mere pests with a passionate hatred towards their very existence. I have spoken to numerous farmers who could not wait to see the day elephants become no more. That truly is sad, given they will inevitably pass their disdain for one of nature's magnificent creatures over to the next generation. The biggest problem in their eyes is the inability to keep elephants away from their crops and villages. An elephant needs to eat around 100 kilograms every day to sustain its body. So it's no wonder they attempt to get their trunks on food from wherever they can. With farmers' livelihoods at stake, various elephant repellent methods have been tried across the world. The commonly employed methods in Sri Lanka are the use of elephant crackers and elephant fencing. Both, however, cannot be called a total success, as the pachyderms have gotten used to these methods while figuring out ways to bring down electrified fences. In the African continent and other countries, particularly in India, different repellent methods have been experimented. Growing chilies at borders of farms has proven to be effective to some degree, but not a total success. Beef pheromones were also experimented, as scientists found it to be a deterrent of elephants. Concoction of chili mixed with cow dung made into a dry patty to be lit and hurled at the elephants also proved to be rather effective. It relies on elephants' superior sense of smell. Given humans struggle to withstand the smell of burning chili, the effect is amplified in elephants given they have highly sensitive olfactory faculties. Now, a Sri Lankan has come up with another invention which also relies on the same principle. Rather than using just chili, his invention uses several fragrances which elephants find detestable. What's more, it's an incense stick. Where burning chili mixed repellent products rely on wind blowing the smoke towards the elephant, this new product is designed to emanate smoke parallel to the ground at a radius of 20 meters. The elephant repellent incense stick also lasts around 6 hours after being lit. With most of the incidents relating to human-elephant conflict being reported from the northwestern province, the inventor of the product, Sean Gershon, distributed these incense sticks free of charge to the people of Timiriava, which falls under the Nikavaratiya Wildlife Office recently in collaboration with the Department of Wildlife.
In Sri Lanka, we know that human-elephant conflict is really at its worst. We implemented an incense stick including 5 different fragrances hated by elephants. For example, ginger, palmarose, patchouli, lemongrass and citronella. So we included those 5 and we made a 12-inch long incense stick. We proceeded with the testings and very positive results. And we wanted to introduce this product to these villagers, and good support we got from villagers. So we wanted to see their feedback, whether elephants are avoiding their paths or whether they are hesitating to get into villages. We hope that it will be a successful product. In future we'll see how it's going and whether people are getting results out of this.
As promising as this invention may be, the question lingers whether elephant deterrent methods are in fact treating the symptom and not the disease.
What we had been seeing as various solutions are really deterrent solutions, that is to keep the elephants and the human beings away from each other. Electric fences, biofences, using of various sounds, various smells, odors and various other electronic devices. But deterrent solutions does not work unless and until we find a solution to the pressing issues facing the elephants. That is, they lack enough food, they lack enough space to roam around and they lack enough water for their sustenance. Therefore, in seeking a solution, we can always have these stopgap issues and deterrents as part-time solutions, but we have to go for a real solution and cause the real problems to disappear in order to safeguard the elephant lives and human lives also.
Whatever said and done, the reality is that humans keep on encroaching animal habitat. As a result, it has been revealed that elephants are changing their behavioral patterns to address their habitat shrinkage. At least for now, elephant deterrent methods may work, but it could well be pausing the inevitable. At this rate of human encroachment on elephant stomping grounds, they might not have anywhere left to run to. Now then, the Dehiwala Zoo received a new addition to its list of animals as a black jaguar fondly called Leia was unveiled to the public today. The 2-year-old feline was donated by the Netherlands last month. The jaguar is the largest and most powerful wild cat in the Western Hemisphere, but is identified as a near-threatened creature by the World Wildlife Fund. The number of jaguars have declined over the last 100 years, mainly because of humans have slashed and burned many of their homelands in Central and South America and is hunted for their fur.
A 2-year-old female black jaguar named as Leia was unveiled to the public at the Dehevele Zoo today. Born at the Artis Amsterdam Royal Zoo in Netherlands, it was donated on the 22nd of June this year. The last black panther passed away in 2014, following which a special jaguar enclosure was built according to the master plan of the Dehevele Zoo in 2018.
Several requests made to foreign countries to get jaguars from other zoos. Finally, Netherlands agreed to give jaguars to Sri Lanka. According to this agreement, the baby black female jaguar was received to Sri Lanka on 22nd June 2019. This baby black jaguar was born in 28th June 2017. Now it is around 2 years old baby.
However, acclimatizing such a majestic creature is not an easy task. According to the Deputy Director of the Dehevele Zoo, Anoma Priyadarshini, prior to it being unveiled to the public, the black jaguar was quarantined for a month.
The climate of Netherlands and Sri Lanka is quite different. Therefore, we have to acclimatize this baby jaguar at the Dehevele Zoo. To acclimatize this animal, actually the large ice cubes were kept at the dens and the enclosure. And day by day, we remove those activities, and now he is almost adapted to this environment.
Now, issues have come to light regarding a 10-year-old A330-200 aircraft when passengers were seen complaining of its pitiful state. The aircraft had been purchased following the cancellation of 4 A350 carriers in 2016, for which the Sri Lankan Airlines have currently doled out 1 billion rupees in state money. This comes at a time where a loss of the national carrier increased to over 12.9 billion rupees in the first 4 months of 2019.
An order placed in 2013 for 4 A350 Airbus carriers was cancelled in 2016. As a result, a 10-year-old Airbus A330-200 carrier was acquired in 2017 as part of the conditions agreed between the previous management of the airline and aircraft leaser AerCap as a settlement against the previous cancellation of the 4 new Airbus aircraft. However, the newly acquired aircraft was kept idling at the Bandaranayake International Airport in Katunayake as it was unsuitable for commercial use. It is also evident that the travel time of a A330-200 4-hour ALS aircraft is limited in comparison to other aircrafts being used by Sri Lankan Airlines. The travel time of other aircrafts is being recorded as over 400 hours per month, while the A330-200 4-hour ALS is only able to travel for 60 hours. Speaking to AdaDerana, Chairman of the Nidhas Sevaka Sangame of Sri Lankan Airlines, Janaka Vijayapatirana, said that the unsuitable aircraft was purchased upon the advice of the Economic Advisor to the Prime Minister, Charitha Ratwatta, following the cancellation of the 4 A350 Airbus carriers. Visuals of the pitiful state of the A330-200 was captured by passengers who were travelling to Malé recently.
TVs are not working. දැනට මේ ගුවන් යානය සඳහා රුපියල් මිලියන 1000කට ආසන්න මුදලක් අපි ගෙවලා තියෙනවා. මාසෙකට රුපියල් මිලියන 100ක මාසික වාරික මුදලක් ගෙවමින්. අපි කියන්නේ මේ ගුවන් යානය වහාම භාවිතයෙන් ඉවත් කරන්න.
The incident comes at a time where the total loss of Sri Lankan Airlines has increased to over 12.9 billion rupees in the first 4 months of this year, while the total debt of Sri Lankan Airlines has exceeded $750 million. The government is currently bearing $375 million and 26,250 million rupees of contingent liabilities piled up since 2014.
The Securities and Exchange Commission has called for public consultation on segregation of Chief Executive Officer and Chairman roles performed by one individual in listed entities. According to the consultation paper released to the public recently, the best practice on corporate governance discourages concentration of power on one person.
The Securities Exchange Commission released a paper calling for public consultation on segregation of Chief Executive Officer and Chairman role performed by one person in listed entities. The paper said that the best practice on corporate governance discourages concentration of power in one individual. According to the paper, an established norm is that there should be a clear division of responsibilities at the level of board of directors of the company, which will ensure balance of power and authority, such that no one individual has unfettered powers of decision. Furthermore, as best practice, the chairman is expected to be an independent non-executive director and shall not perform the role of the CEO. The paper further noted that currently, as per the listing rules of the Colombo Stock Exchange, there is no specific rule relating to the separation of the CEO and the chairman position. Due to absence of such rule, the SEC notes that certain public listed companies have the role of chairman and CEO managing director performed by the same individual. The paper also notes that an analysis by the SEC shows that 83% of total listed entities have already segregated the roles of chairman and chief executive and have an independent or a non-executive director as chairman. It further said that due to the National Strategic Initiative to improve Sri Lanka's competitiveness in international ranking on the ease of doing business as approved by the Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade, it is timely to adopt a policy to separate the CEO and chairman roles as identified in item 6 of the roadmap produced by the ministry. The paper goes on to say that jurisdictions such as Pakistan, Indonesia, Norway and Netherlands require mandatory segregation, whereas jurisdictions such as Australia, Singapore and Malaysia require either to comply or explain as to why compliance is not met. Furthermore, the paper highlights that Sri Lanka recommended voluntary compliance for a decade in order to create awareness and to provide adequate time to embrace the concept.
And now to give you a market update, shares closed firmer today, led by gains in banking stocks, with all share price index ending 0.42% up at 5,683.47 after slipping from a 4-month high yesterday. The turnover was 339.8 million rupees, in less than this year's daily average. Foreign investors sold a net 25.8 million rupees worth of shares. We now have a brief report from Dimantha Matthew from First Capital Holdings on today's market performance, followed by a look at the Sri Lankan rupee.
In the secondary bond market, yield curve remained broadly unchanged, while the overall market witnessed actually thin volumes. The market participants remained on the sidelines ahead of tomorrow's bill auction, where the central bank has offered 25 billion rupees. The stock market, the market reverted back to the positive territory from negative sentiment that was seen yesterday, mainly contributed by John Keel's holdings. A net foreign outflow was recorded amidst moderate foreign participation today.
Welcome back. You're watching First at 9. There was big news coming from the UK today. Boris Johnson is the new leader of the Conservative Party after he won a ballot of party members, becoming the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He beat Jeremy Hunt comfortably, winning 92,153 votes to his rivals' 46,656. The former London mayor takes over from Theresa May tomorrow. In his victory speech, Johnson promised he would deliver Brexit, unite the country and defeat Jeremy Corbyn. He also pledged to energise the country, adding that Brexit was going to get done on the 31st of October, while taking advantage of all the opportunities it will bring with a new spirit of can-do.
You've been good-natured, you've been a font of excellent ideas, all of which I propose to steal.
Now, Minister of Sports Harun Fernando presented the amended Cricket Constitution to the Parliament today. It's been amended with suggestions taken from veteran cricketers, including Mahela Jayawardene Kumar Sangakkara. Speaking at a media briefing held afterwards, the minister said that the decision to ask the coaches to resign from their positions was taken after legal consultation. I recently saw at a media briefing that the coach of the national team saying that he was not informed of the decision that all coaches should resign following the Bangladesh tour. I have no right to give directions to coaches. What I said was to renegotiate their contracts. If someone is paid a wage, there should be a result in that. The cricket board has decided to pay very little to the cricketers and they will be paid well only if matches are won. That should be the same with the coach. What the coach says is not relevant to me. I declared this decision after speaking with lawyers. If the cricket board says no one can be removed in a haste, I can come up with legal arguments for that as well, because no one is in a higher position than the Attorney General's department. I don't like Chandika Hathurusinghe facing injustice either. And that's it from all of us here at First at 9. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.